around about 80% plus of women absolutely have the capacity and do not need medical intervention.
Really, from conception, that's when the mum guilt starts.
Their job is not to come and cuddle the baby. Their job is to come and support you.
As a partner, what should we be looking out for, especially with a new mum?
By setting mums up to think that you can bounce back and you can be doing your supermarket shop 24 hours after you've had a C-section is completely unrealistic.
Oh, I'm going to tell you my horrific birth story.
True.
Yeah.
It's sorry, why would you do that?
There's all this stuff online about it being painful and that being normal. It's not normal for breastfeeding to be painful. In a lot of countries around the world, postnatal women are literally treated like queens for 6 weeks.
Like the 17 litres of wine.
He's joking, by the way. He's joking. Hi everyone, I'm Emily.
And I'm Matt.
And welcome back to our podcast, What They Don't Tell You.
But we will.
Yes, and today we are so excited to be joined by a midwife, Marie Louise. She is an experienced NHS midwife, a best-selling author, and a leading voice in antenatal and postnatal education. She has over a decade of experience and she's helped thousands of families, and she is a mum of 2 herself. So we are so excited to talk all things motherhood, birth, pregnancy. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And as I was just saying, this is such a beautiful setting.
Oh, thank you so much. And so you're Marie Louise, but AKA the Modern Midwife on Instagram and social media. But before we've got so many questions for you, but before we get into it, I'd love to just know a bit about you and a bit about how you got even into midwifery and then social media as well.
Yeah, sure. So my interest was really sparked at such a young age because I remember I was at school and I used to really pester like my science teachers for answers around this. So they'd explain to us, we'll talk about conception, for example. And I'd be like, hang on, wait, sorry. So 2 cells meet and then a whole of a human being is formed with a conscious brain, eyelashes, fingernails, and then a woman gives birth to it. How does that happen? And no one ever really like properly satisfied my need to understand this further. And I still am absolutely fascinated by the fact that it's bonkers.
It's
a human,
amazing.
A human being grows a whole other human being that, as I say, it's got a conscious brain. Newborn babies have an understanding of the world that we often don't give them credit for. They recognize their mother's voices. They even cry in accents.
Yeah.
I saw this on your Instagram and it blew my mind that they even recognize like an Italian baby would recognize an Italian accent.
Yeah, they have a preference for that accent. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And there's so much learning that occurs in the womb. And so, from a very young age, I was really interested in this stuff. And I would always just really annoy my science teachers because I always had a question about it. And then when I got older, I used to watch this program called Babes in the Wood, and it was all about home birth. And I was like, oh, wow. So you can actually give birth at home, because I'd only ever thought about giving birth in hospital or it being a medical event. And when I started to view it as a life event, that was when I was, looking into midwifery and like, maybe that's a job that I can do. And all of my teachers and careers advisor said, you're too young. I was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Didn't have children, of course, at that age. And and they all tried to deter me away from it, but I went for it. And I'm so glad I did, because when I qualified as one of the youngest midwives in the UK at the time.
Wow.
And my hunger and desire to know more about pregnancy and the placenta and how all of these things function was really met. And still, more than 12 years down the line, I'm still learning things as the science unfolds about pregnancy, about birth and early motherhood.
Wow.
It's so nice, though, that you've known what you wanted to do and do it, because it's so unheard of now, isn't it? It's,
Yeah.
Our
14-year-old is like obviously at school, and they've been talking already at school, like, what do you want to do when you get older? Obviously, he's got no idea. I think it's so rare when you find the thing that you want to do.
It is extremely rare, I think, and I hope that for my own kids that they, that they find that passion early on, and I'm really grateful for that because, as I say, it served me well, and I just knew that's what fascinated me.
And it's funny that with midwifery, you sort of think of like that big event of birth, but you actually support them throughout the whole pregnancy, like throughout the whole beginning. So maybe we'll start there. What's something you wish women knew about pregnancy that maybe they don't know?
We think of pregnancy as this thing that, that women do. It's like, oh, it's pregnancy, and it kind of like sits in this box. But actually, everyone experiences pregnancy so differently. So some women don't have any morning sickness at all. Yeah. And other women have hyperemesis. And are hospitalized with that. So I think when we put pregnancy into a box of something that just happens, and now there's more education around periods, for example, because periods have been in the same kind of category, like, oh, it's just a period, but everyone experiences that differently as well.
It's never just a period.
Yeah. It's never just a period.
Yeah.
Glad you said it.
Yeah.
I've learned.
Yeah. Good. I'm still training mine.
Yeah. He'll get there.
He'll get there.
I'm doing a course actually. Yeah.
Can I refer him?
It's called Keep Quiet.
Yeah. But yeah, so everyone experiences it so differently. And I think that it's really important for women to understand that it is a unique and it is an individual experience, and you won't love all of it. A lot of the content that we see online is, women looking and blooming and glowing and, feeling
nice
great.
Music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, some of them aren't, they're not feeling themselves. They're not sleeping very well. They're leaking.
Yeah.
And, they're fed up with their baby constantly kicking them. For example, I had one woman come into clinic once and we were chatting. She just burst into tears. And I said, oh, what's the matter? Like, what's going on? And she said, I'm sick of this feeling of being kicked constantly. It's driving me mental and I can't escape it. Yeah. And I was like, that is really hard because you can't escape it. You're living with it 24/7.
Yeah.
She said it's really, and I know I should be loving it. And, people are saying to me, oh, yeah, the baby's kicking, or, my partner's putting his hand on my tummy. And she said, for me, it's actually a really difficult experience because I'm just like, oh, like keep still. And this thing is moving around constantly. Whereas other women, that's the best part about pregnancy. They love feeling their baby move. Yeah. So it's a very unique individual experience. So if you're having a different experience to someone else, please don't judge yourself. Please don't think that no one else is going through that. They probably are. They're just not talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like she probably felt guilty in that moment of saying,
she did.
I actually wanted to stop. Because it does go from like this lovely little like flutter at the beginning to then like a full on like kick you in the bladder or like, it's just horrible at the end,
sometimes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And she did. And that's why she was crying, because I was that safe person for her to be able to. She hadn't even spoke to her partner about it.
Yeah.
She was just crying like, basically, I'm fed up of this. You know?
Because I think the mum guilt does start there.
It does.
For me, it started the second I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now anything I'm going to put in my mouth, anything I'm going to do, like I feel guilty. Like maybe that's not the most healthy thing, or maybe you all like really from conception, that's when the mum guilt starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the amount of mums that say to me as well, I was drinking when I didn't know I was pregnant, but they were like 5 days pregnant, for example.
Totally.
Or I ate something that's not recommended in pregnancy. And they're freaking out about it. They think they've done something terrible to their baby when, 99.9% of the time, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But women do carry that guilt very early on.
Mother Nature as well, I guess, isn't it? To protect.
Yeah, but I remember when I was pregnant, you weren't supposed to have like runny eggs or smoked salmon. All the things you're not supposed to have. I said to my doctor, I was like, I don't know why, I just really want smoked salmon. She was like, just have it. She was like, it will be fine. Yeah. She's like, I know like food poisoning can happen, but she was like, you're going to be fine. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I needed someone to say, it's okay. You can you'll probably be fine.
What about the 17 litres of wine?
He's joking, by the way. He's joking.
Let's talk birth plans. We've all got opinions on them. We infamously went to NCT classes. Emily wrote a birth plan. Which soon went out the window as soon as we walked through the doors of the hospital.
It feels like you can set yourself up for disappointment if your expectations are so huge.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips?
I totally agree with that. And I think the purpose of a birth plan is often misunderstood. So from my perspective, I do advocate birth plans because it's not a contractual agreement. It's not something that you're telling yourself is definitely going to happen. It's something that is a form of education, so you can understand your various different options, what's available to you and what you would possibly like at the time. And I think if you don't have a plan at all, there's that saying, if you don't know your options, you don't have any.
Yeah.
And sometimes what happens is we have this perception that, okay, I've got a birth plan, therefore hopefully that is what's going to happen. So I always say to women, have a plan A, B, and C. Because if you plan, for example, I had a home birth, I planned for a home birth, but I also planned for an emergency cesarean section. I planned the song that I wanted played, for example. Things that I knew that were going to keep me calm.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really important that we are realistic about birth. It is unpredictable. I mean, I've been at all kinds of birth, and sometimes it's unfolded in ways where even I, after many years as a midwife, have been shocked. How's this happened? That is quite rare. And it is important to make a plan, to understand your options and understand what might happen. And then you have a bit more control over it and what you consent to or what you don't consent to.
Yeah.
And your partner can obviously have an idea of what's going on if things do take a turn, or do you know what I mean?
I was just thinking that because when you're a little bit out of it, it is them, they were sort of then speaking to Matt, did she want a water birth, or is gas and air okay, or they're almost asking him more, so it's good for him to know your wishes.
It is. And I always say that the birth partner should know the birth plan just as well, if not better, in some circumstances than mum. Which I know sounds funny, but it's because when you're in labour, you can't have a proper conversation, you can't fully advocate for yourself, you're in labour land. And I also, with birth plans, they do need to be based on, they need to be realistic given your set of circumstances and your situation, and really, based on evidence as well, hopefully, and your intuition as a mum. Because you know a lot about your body, you know a lot, and we often don't give women enough credit for that, I think.
Well, it's like with our second, I wouldn't say as much of birth plan, but Emily broke her coccyx on the first. So we obviously did some research, and it was like, she shouldn't be laying on her back. And that was my birth plan, wasn't it? It's like, do not let me have this baby.
Like, you've got one
on
thing that you need to make sure happen.
And the midwife, bless her, on the day, she obviously just was doing her job, and she was like, I said to her, look, did I tell her? I must have told her. I think I said she broke her coccyx on the first. I said, she doesn't want to have it on her back. And I don't think she realised how far gone you were. She's got quite a high pain threshold.
It
so
escalated really quickly.
And so then the midwife left the room, and I literally just picked her up, didn't you?
Turn me over.
I don't know where I found that strength. And flipped her over. And,
Good.
Made a mess, but I was just like, she can't be on her back.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have lived otherwise.
It wouldn't have been worth coming home.
The grip on my hand, I was like,
But that's amazing that you did that, and that is the power of a birth partner, because you know her better than anyone in that hospital, and you know what she's been through, you know her body better. And I often say this to birth partners as well. They know their partner so well. They know, you've been together for years. Not everyone has before they have a baby, but they often have been together for, a significant amount of time. You know the micro body language of your partner. Like, you'll just make eye contact and you'll know how each other are feeling. So in the birth room, you know how to support.
You know what those noises
mean. You know what they mean. You know what the eye contact
Well, with the third,
means.
it was like I'd learned that if she was on the toilet, that meant it was coming. So I was talking to the midwife at our house. It was a home birth, and I went, it's when she's on the toilet is when she's coming. And then I was like, where is she? And she's on the toilet.
And then they both panicked. They were like, quick.
And then 20 seconds later, it was here.
It's funny how it feels the exact same. But also that in labour, me touching him actually helped with the pain relief.
Didn't help me whatsoever.
No, but
trying to drink my coffee. I was like,
no, but he was like, should I go get the bags? And I was like, you're not going. I need you to hang on to me. But on pain relief, let's talk about pain relief then. Do we overthink it? There's so many different options. What's your honest take on epidurals, gas and air, no pain relief? What What are your thoughts?
It's a very individual thing, and it starts with really the woman's perception of birth. And from a young age, we are kind of primed to believe that women give birth on their back in a medicalized setting with bright lights, and women need saving from themselves because they can't give birth and they need all of these doctors around them, and it's all, like an emergency. That's what we tend to see within the media and mainstream media, in films. And as a midwife of many years that has supported women in all kinds of scenarios, and my particular interest is physiological birth and unmedicated birth, I can tell you that the vast majority, around about 80% plus of women, absolutely have the capacity and do not need medical intervention. But I think what happens is, if you've been exposed to this kind of media throughout your life, and you don't have a great understanding of your body, because like I say, when I was at school, my science teachers couldn't give me the answers about pregnancy. We don't teach young girls about pregnancy. So when you fall pregnant, you think, oh my goodness, what have I eaten? What do I need to do? And you have that, like you say, element of mum guilt straight away. So we are quite disconnected from our bodies in that way. And when you think about it, it's wild that women don't know about pregnancy when the vast majority of women will be pregnant at some point in their life. So I think it comes from there, and that not understanding your body and being fearful of what might happen. So if a woman comes to me, she says, I'm scared of the pain of birth, I want to have an early epidural, we delve into that kind of like that fear cycle. So I say, what exactly around the pain are you scared of? What do you think is going to happen as a result of the pain? Because pain in the human body tends to be a result of something, for example, a break, something that your body needs to prevent further injury. Whereas the pain of labour isn't like that. The pain of labour is actually leading towards the birth of a baby. So we often think, oh, I'm in pain, I need to stop that pain, I need to stop further injury. But actually, with the pain of labour and contractions, what you need to do is relax and go with it.
Like embrace it.
And embrace it. So, again, we need to teach women, and young girls in particular, more about this element of pain. So it is a very much an individual thing, and there are risks and benefits to everything as well. There are risks and benefits to an epidural. There are risks and benefits to pethidine and oral opioids, gas and air, so I often try to start with the unmedicated side of stuff, like, the breathing, the relaxation, the mindset management. And then I tend to try and build on it from there. But it's very individual, and it depends how a woman perceives birth and what she wants out of her birth.
Yeah. And hypnobirthing can be so helpful as well, because I did hypnosis because I was really nervous about the pain, and I don't know why I got really worked up about tearing specifically. But I had hypnosis, and she put that within the hypnosis.
Amazing.
So in my ear, it was like, you are dilating at the perfect, but it really helped. And I didn't tear. I didn't tear with any of them. And actually it was that, I think within the hypnosis as well, it's like every contraction is bringing you closer to your baby. So it kind of like, it did really help.
Women don't help each other, do they? If someone's pregnant, it's like, oh, I'm going to tell you my horrific birth story.
True.
It's like, sorry, like, why would you do that?
I know. I know.
Let me give you all this fear.
All of this horrific detail. And it really upsets pregnant women, because if you're at that phase in your life, the last thing you want to hit exactly is how horrific it is. And
it's
don't
often
get me wrong,
strangers as well, isn't it? It's often that you see someone, you're heavily pregnant, let me tell you about my birth. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. It happened to me as well in my pregnancy a couple of times. A couple of people offloaded, or on the second one, it was an attempt to offload. And I was like, sorry, I'm just going to stop you there because I'm in a situation now where I need
out.
Exactly. I need to think a bit more positively, and I don't really want to know about your whole story, even though I'm a midwife and
Janice.
I've seen it all.
But did that make it harder, having seen so many different births and how it can go really right and how it can go really wrong? Like, did that affect your own pregnancy?
Yeah, definitely. I think overall it was a really positive thing, because I understood my body so well. I understood what hormones were being released when, and I understood kind of, how to go with, like I said, I had my first baby at home, my second baby at home. They were quick labours, and at each phase, I knew exactly what was going on internally. And that was quite reassuring for me, because I knew when I was that transition phase, because I could feel myself freaking out, thinking, I can't do this, I need to get out of the water, someone save me. And then I was like, you're going through transition, Marie, you know this is normal. There was like another part of my
panic.
I had it initially, but then the midwife part of my brain kicked in and reassured me. And that happened throughout my pregnancy, and throughout my birth. However, once I had my baby, that expired. I don't know where it went, but it was like, I'm off. You're on your own. And I felt the usual anxieties and fears. And I used to phone my midwife and ask her to come to my house. And I think that stayed with me as a midwife as well, to always remember how you feel after you've had a baby, because that was something that I struggled with a lot more than I ever anticipated.
Yeah, it really knocks you for six, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think maybe it is the hormones then, they just completely take over. And I definitely struggled, especially first time. First time, you just don't know. I felt like we did so much research about being pregnant and giving birth.
Yeah,
we didn't think about the actual having to raise a person for however many years.
Yeah. All the impetus is on the birth, isn't it? I feel like, and then suddenly you're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Really, we should have read about that as well.
Yeah. Going back to women's bodies, there just seems like so much pressure, especially online, I don't think helps. What's your advice to new mums to be, how to deal with that?
Yeah, and I actually recorded a reel yesterday that I haven't posted about this specifically. And I think there is a lot of pressure, is for the modern mum in particular, to wear all of these different hats and be all of these different people. So we get these messages that are sort of like online, I mean, you can have it all. You can be a career woman. You can also breastfeed. You can go out whenever you want. You can have a great social network. You can be a stay-at-home mum. You can be all of these different things. And it's like, I don't believe that you can have it all. There's definitely no such thing as bouncing back. And I don't believe that you can have it all as a modern mum. I think something has to give at all times. And by setting mums up to think that you can bounce back and you can be doing your supermarket shop 24 hours after you've had a C-section is completely unrealistic. Like the most amount of hormones that are released in our body occurs after we've had a baby. So there's the biggest hormonal shift that we ever see in a human's lifespan after you give birth. Add to that sleep deprivation, add to that relationship changes, add to that wound healing, add to that your uterus needing to shrink back down to its pre-pregnant state. There's so much going on during that postnatal period that you need to be at home for a few weeks and do nothing but bond with your baby, heal, rest and recover. And there is no, I think women are sort of told, if you're this strong, independent woman, you can go and get it and you can be all of these things. And I have a really big problem with that for modern mums and in particular new mums, because I'm like, no, she can't be all of these things.
Yeah. I saw something that said, you can have it all, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is so true.
It's so true.
You're in the season of life where you're a new mum and then maybe the career comes later. Yeah. But you're right. There is so much pressure.
There's so much pressure. And I think this whole movement of like, go and get it, girl, female independence, all of that, like, don't get me wrong. I'm all for that. But when you've had a baby, it's like, calm down, like chill out. Like she doesn't need to be pushed. She needs to readjust to this massive transition and learn how to become a mum, because whether it's your first baby or fifth baby, it's a new baby that you're getting to know. It changes your family dynamic. So it's not like you can bounce back or be the person that you were, or it's, I think that after we really need to make an effort after we've had babies to calm down and accept we are where we are.
Yeah.
We always talk about the baby and we're just saying now about the mum. I think obviously a mum's mental health is obviously vital. As a partner, what should we be looking out for, especially with a new mum?
Yeah.
What are the signs?
The classic signs are crying more than usual, intrusive thoughts, but violent intrusive thoughts that mums won't always relay. So sometimes they will. It depends on kind of like how they're feeling at the time. But violent intrusive thoughts can be one as well, and they can be really upsetting for women. I've had a few women come to me and say, and it's been a bit of a red flag, because they've said, I'm really disturbed, like I'm thinking about causing harm to my baby. I really don't want to, but I'm thinking really violent things. And that is a big red flag. And it's actually far more common than you would ever think. Yeah, it's only when you talk...
I actually had intrusive thoughts, but I would have never said it to my midwife at the time. Like there's a bridge near our house. I used to walk over it with the pram, and I used to think about like the baby going over the bridge or like these horrendous things, which were really upsetting.
Yeah.
But I wanted to tell anyone because I thought they were going to take my baby away. Or it was like too scary.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really common for women to think that, you know, that their baby will be removed from them. That's actually extremely rare. It's a very, very like worst case scenario and last resort. We always want to keep mums and babies together because we know that they both do far better when they do stay together. And even women that are really sick, we do try to keep them with their babies. But yeah, what you're experiencing is really common. It's also a way of you adjusting to life as a mum and trying to protect your baby, because intrusive thoughts are often a defense mechanism, because it's like you don't want your baby to go over the bridge, so you're thinking about that, to how to prevent that from happening. You know,
it was like a new level of anxiety I'd never experienced.
But
then I guess, you know, we do need some anxiety because we're now responsible for this person.
Yeah, exactly. You do. So I think it's gauging what intrusive thoughts are kind of, you know, normal in a way and part of parenthood, and what intrusive thoughts are, okay, this woman is, you know, starting to struggle with potentially looking at postnatal depression and how to treat that and work with her through that. But yeah, crying for long periods of time and inconsolable, losing interest in things that you would normally like find, you know, joyful. That can be big changes in appetite, overeating, undereating, and disengagement, really. So you'll see women that are quite unwell, you can see it straight away in their eye contact. You can see there's that element of vacancy, but that's when women really are quite unwell. So the early signs...
men just always look unwell.
I'm glad you said
always look vacant.
Glaze over your eyes.
But yeah, the early signs, as you said, really is tearful. That's the main that's the main one that women have after they've had
you obviously had struggles then.
Oh,
bit late now.
No, but I didn't even realise until later on. I spoke to someone who, she said she had postnatal OCD.
Yeah.
And she was explaining to me how that, you know, manifested. And everything she was saying, I was like, I experienced that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years later I thought, I think I had postnatal OCD. I was just like another level. Definitely anxious. Always just like loving my baby. I had severe separation anxiety to the point I went and had my hair highlighted. I think he was like 3 months old. Matt sat next door in the Starbucks with the baby. I cried the whole appointment.
Time.
I was just like, and I think I should have just brought him in with me. And my hairdresser, I remember like them looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl? Like they're next door if I needed to feed him.
Yeah.
But I was like,
but you're made to feel like you're the problem as well, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Well, it's obviously your mum guilt, but...
I had really bad separation anxiety, and at the time I really beat myself up about it. But now that you know, he's older, I think that's the most natural thing ever.
Yeah,
Of course you don't want to be separate from your baby. Like you're their food source, you're their comfort, their everything. So I think, I don't know. Like I think I was really hard on myself. Yeah. And actually, like, it's normal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with mental health, it can be really hard to gauge when someone is actually unwell and when someone is experiencing the normal emotions that come with motherhood. And that feeling of separation anxiety is actually quite normal, especially if you're breastfeeding and, you know, you've got all of those hormones flowing around your body as well. Your instinct, everything in your body is telling you, be close to your baby. So, and at 3 months old, that's still a tiny baby. Yeah. But I know so many women, they do beat themselves up for how they feel. And, you know, so I think on the flip side, if you are crying more than normal, also do know that can be normal. Yeah. It's just really
exhausted.
hard to, exactly. And you're very hormonal, like you say, sleep deprived, you know. You're feeding, whether you're breast or bottle feeding, you're still feeding this baby regularly, and that is exhausting. Yeah. So it is very hard to gauge, but overall, there is an element of normal postnatal anxiety, I think comes with being a new mum.
Yeah. And feeding was another massive part of the early days. Like for me, I really felt like it took like a good 3 weeks to get in the flow with it. But actually, we were asked to leave the hospital so quickly as well.
Gosh.
So have you got any tips for breastfeeding or, you know, things about feeding?
Yeah.
Because it's such a huge part of it.
It's huge, isn't it? And when you struggle with feeding, it can be so stressful. Talking of postnatal anxiety, that really set me off. I got so anxious as a result of it. So what I would say is early on, establish feeding as early as you can after you've had a baby. So ideally, baby will be with mum in skin to skin, because that can help to initiate breastfeeding. It can help to initiate bonding. It also, babies are born in this white sticky stuff called vernix. And if you leave that on your chest as well, it can sort of act as a sat nav for your baby when they go to go for their next feed. Whereas lots of women will naturally, of course, go and have a shower and wash it off. But actually it is good for the baby because they have that association. I was here before, and they have a really good sense of smell, baby. Not such good eyesight, but really good sense of smell. And that can be really helpful for babies for the next feed, to know that they've, that's where they last fed and they can smell themselves. And then the other thing is around latch. So making sure, depending on the type of birth that you've had, that you get the latch right. And if it's painful, take the baby off. There's all this stuff online about it being painful and that being normal. It's not normal for breastfeeding to be painful. So you need to unlatch your baby and try different positions as well. Like the rugby ball hold can be a really good one, especially if you've had a C-section. There are different positions that you can. We don't just have that kind of like classic cross cradle. You can try different positions. And also ask for help. Get your midwife to watch your feed. Talk to your midwife about what you can feel. Watch what's going on with your baby, and take your time with it. It's a shame you were rushed out of the hospital, because that's the number one thing that I would say is not to rush. And it's a shame that they did that to you, because that's on them, not on you. But when you're initiating breastfeeding, you need support.
I should have asked for help for me, shouldn't I?
Yeah. I think it's like once they see you feed once well, it's like, okay, that's good.
Tick.
Yeah.
But then you get home, sometimes it's a different story, isn't it?
Exactly. And when your milk comes in, your breasts change and they become engorged. So then that changes the shape of the nipple, and then that can also change how the baby latches on. So that's why it's important to know other positions that you can potentially use, and also to know how to hand express a little bit of breast milk off if you are engorged. Express that and soften it.
Okay. And what is the worst piece of advice you've ever heard given to new parents?
The worst piece of advice is probably around leaving babies to cry, especially very young babies. I do not agree with that at all. As I say, babies are vulnerable, and there comes a time when a baby is older, and of course, they might need to wait for a minute for certain things. And when you've got other kids, as we know about, sometimes I have to leave my son to cry for a minute because I've got to attend to my daughter. A newborn baby or a baby under 6 months should not be left to cry under any circumstance. Obviously if you're driving in the car and the baby's crying in the back, you can't reach. But I don't believe in planned crying, leaving babies to cry, and just accepting or allowing that. The only other circumstances around it is if a mum is struggling with her mental health. I do advocate for put the baby in a safe place. Go and take your breather, calm yourself down, or get someone else to go to the baby. But that's really, a baby under 6 months shouldn't be left to cry.
So we have some quick fire questions for you. What is one thing every new mum should pack in their hospital bag?
I have a physical and an emotional one. Physical is lip balm. Like I say, your lips often get dry. An emotional one is pack your oxytocin. Pack the things that are going to help you to release your oxytocin. Whether that be affirmation cards, whether that be photos, whether that be whatever it might look like for you that makes you feel calm and relaxed. Pack that in your hospital bag and don't worry about the rest.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay. Water birth or not?
It depends on the unique situation. I am an advocate for water birth. There's loads of research that demonstrates. There was a meta-analysis done in 2021, I believe. This is the best form of research that we have on water birth, and it demonstrated that it clearly improved outcomes for both women and babies.
And most underrated bit of advice that you give?
Say no to visitors unless they are bringing food, emptying your dishwasher, or putting the laundry on.
Yes.
Their job is not to come and cuddle the baby. Their job is to come and support you.
Yeah.
So that's what it's a no from me unless you're here to help.
Don't let your family eat all the food prep that you made.
Yes. Do not do that. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, we made that mistake.
Yeah. But that's so true, because obviously the baby's new and so novel and everyone wants to cuddle it, but then you also want to cuddle it. So it's
absolutely, and you're healing and recovering, and like in the Western world, like I say, we have this bounce back culture. Women can be all of these different things, and yeah, your body is amazing, but it needs time to rest and recover. And you know, in a lot of countries around the world, postnatal women are literally treated like queens for 6 weeks. In some parts of Asia, they don't get out of bed for 6 weeks. They have all of their meals brought to them, and they have support. And traditionally in the UK, we used to have the rooming in period where women weren't even exposed to light because their bodies needed to heal and they didn't need further stimulation. So I think it was for 2 weeks we used to just basically shut postnatal women off from the world. So this is like ancient wisdom that we have completely lost. So when we have a new baby, we answer the door, we're like, do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah.
And it's like, absolutely, that's not what we should be doing.
It's crazy.
Baby sleep in one word.
Unpredictable. Traumatic.
Yeah. Stressful.
Yeah. See, I told you it was simple.
Yeah.
So what are you moaning about?
Yes. Yeah. And we ask all of our guests the same closing question, which is, what is one thing you wish you'd known before becoming a parent?
That you can love this baby like the love is literally pouring out of your body, like it's just everywhere and you're obsessed. And you can also, you know, literally an hour later question why you had a baby.
Yeah.
Because you love them so much, but you're also like, oh my God, this is awful. And then you go back to being like, I love you so much. You're the best thing in the whole wide world. I just wish I'd known that was completely normal, because for a while I questioned whether I was fit to become a mum, because I felt really unstable in my thoughts around, I love my baby, I hate motherhood, I love my baby, I hate motherhood. And that was like an emotional roller coaster. And I wish I'd known that's actually really normal. And it doesn't mean you love them any less. It just means that in that moment, it's pretty shit and hard.
It is. It's relentless parenting. Even now, we've 3 older kids. Even now, like 1 minute, you know, we'll be helping them study for exams, and then the next minute you're thinking, oh God, like, this is really hard, isn't it? It's still really hard. It's the maths, I can't do it. No, but now they're older as well. We don't really have an evening together. They're still up at like 9:30, and we're like, okay, like this is really hard.
Yeah, they used to be all down by 7 p.m. and we'd have a couple of hours. But people used to say, oh, you wait till they get older, it's different problems. And it is. It's obviously more psychological, because it's more pretty physical, isn't it? Those first few years.
Yeah. They need a lot of your body, and then as they get older, they need a lot of your brain.
Yes, so
and
true.
they don't want it. But they need it.
That's even harder.
Exactly.
Don't have kids.
Thank you so much for coming onto our podcast. Like, that was so insightful and amazing. And you have 2 books, don't you?
Yes,
out at
I
the
do.
moment, which people can buy. So we're going to link all of that in the description of this podcast. Definitely go check it out. And you've got amazing courses as well.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
I always forget to talk about that. So I have a full range of online courses, especially for pregnant women and their partners. And it covers you from your positive pregnancy test all the way through to 12 weeks. We have a consultant psychiatrist even join us on the episode to give advice around postnatal mental health, because it is so complicated. And I cover as much as I possibly can.
Amazing.
And people can find you on Instagram. Yeah, at the Modern Midwife. Yeah. Anywhere else or something?
That's my main channel that I'm on frequently, but I'm thinking about starting YouTube. So watch this space.
Well, you're on YouTube right now as well. Oh, okay. Well, we'll put all the links in the description down below. And of course, we would love any of your questions, comments as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Don't forget to comment, rate, review, follow all the things on all the platforms. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in our next episode. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.